What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today, of course, we're here to talk about the brand new treasure map against Flampe, and in this video, we're going to be looking at, I don't even know what to call these teams anymore. I don't know whether to call them accessible teams or just other teams. We're going to go ahead and break down all the information that you should need to know for the upcoming treasure map against Flampe. We'll break down all the information in regards to the boss gimmicks, and of course show you guys a team or just some ideas that you can take into consideration for taking on each of these bosses. So this is going to be starting July 12th at 1 AM PST until July 16th at 6 AM PST time. So it's upcoming. You know, this upcoming Wednesday is when you got to be prepared for it. Make sure to get your teams ready to go and do your pulls if you're going to do it. However, probably not the best idea to do that. Anyways, without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump into each individual boss and team. Looking at our first boss is against Pudding. So this is, remember, as we said, it's the first boss, so it's usually the easiest of all of the boss fights. This boss is a quick boss, as you can tell in the top left-hand side, and she gives cooldown to everyone, including super switches and versus gauge, and that goes for all bosses with their gimmicks, so it's just something to keep in mind. And with this fight, there's 12 turns of despair that's inflicted as soon as you reach this stage. There's also 6 turns of burn, 1 turn of special limit where you can only use 3 specials for the turn, as well as a rainbow shield damage reduction effect. So obviously it's a lot to take in. We do have the Akainu as the captain, which is the previous treasure map character that we were farming for. The main reason for that is because as a captain, he has an innate ability to remove 2 turns of despair. So it's just really nice to use him. Another thing as well that's really nice about Akainu is that he does have the ability to remove the special limit debuff that is inflicted to your team. So it just allows you to remove some more despair, allow you to use as many specials as you like. And Akainu's special also removes 6 turns of despair and inflicts a burn conditional against the enemy. So he's just really good for this fight. Kamazo is also not too bad because I believe he removes that rainbow shield as well. But then you got Capone, which gives you a full border slots and an orb boost, Barto Cavendish for a very significant attack boost, and it's just a very easy team to build, a full dex-driven focused team that will be able to kill the boss very comfortably for a pretty extended period of time. So now we get to move on to the second boss against Brulee, and this fight they are recommending you to use the Psy Straw Hats. So we're using the Psy Luffy as the captain because he's so good, and Psy Luffy as the captain has the special ability which reduces cooldowns for all of your crewmates, which is something very important because you do get inflicted with special reverse to rows 2 and 3 of the crew, so the captain's unaffected by that, so you can use the Luffy special to reduce the cooldowns of the rest of your crew. You are also inflicted with 5 turns of special bind to your rows 2 and 3, so using the Nami special removes the special bind for you. Alternatively, you could use a captain that also resists special bind. That is a way around it too. With this team, the Sanji is also very important here because Sanji at level limit break 5, mind you, and Sanji is farmable, so make sure to go ahead and get that done. At level limit break 5, his special is very important because of the chain boundary that he inflicts, but also the effect of removing damage nullification by 1 turn. So you can get around the chain attack down, you can get around the damage nullification, and that's pretty much all you really need. Luffy special, Sanji special, Nami special, and then the other 2 characters can basically be whatever you want. In this team comp idea, I'm just using Bellamy because he's a boosted unit in this fight for Free Spirit, Fighter, and Cerebral that all receive cooldown, and Bellamy can just provide an orb boost for the crew, nothing really too crazy. And Robin is just here because she has more type advantage, but realistically, you can switch them out for whatever you like. So the next fight is up against Galette. Now this is actually a really tricky fight, some really awkward gimmicks here. So first of which, there's going to be 9 turns of bind on your middle row. So in this team idea, it's going to have Neptune and Law will be binded. And then there's also 6 turns of attack down, 1 turn of special reverse inflicted to the whole crew. Then there's also damage threshold, 5 turns of that, as well as a poison immunity. So the thing is here is that we will be going ahead and using Sanji special, which does reduce the cooldowns of all of our crewmates, and then we will also use the Izo special because Izo gets rid of the threshold and also does a health cut. Remember, Sanji does have a double special activation, so we can actually use Sanji special again if we want to, which is going to be really nice to have. But the thing is we will be inflicted with attack down, and the attack down is the key removal from Neptune, as well as that support of Shirahoshi, which removes another turn of attack down. But we have Reiju as our main captain, and Reiju as our captain is really nice for a couple of different reasons. First reason is the fact that, you know, she's actually not a terrible unit for cerebral and powerhouse focus boosts, but the fact that Reiju will remove the bind on the middle row. She also gives us a conditional boost for multiple turns, and on the revive, because there is a revive here, the enemy does have 1 turn of very significant defense up, and if you hit 2 perfects with Reiju special, she reduces all enemies' defense by 100% in the following turn. So you use it on the first turn, you hit 2 perfects, when the boss revives, the enemy's defense up really doesn't matter, as well as the fact that there is the ability of the enemy inflicting you with 3 turns of paralysis. Now with double Reiju captain, that actually will remove 2 turns of that paralysis, because her captain ability I think removes 1 turn of paralysis. Yeah, it does. So with double Reiju, you remove 2 turns of it, and then the support of Legend Nami attached to that Sanji will remove the final turn of paralysis post revive. And we just got a lot of damage here, to be honest. You know, Neptune giving us all boost for multiple turns. We have conditional boost from Reiju, lots of type advantage, of course. And it's just a relatively solid team. Not the best team ever, but a team that can definitely get the job done. Now we move on to Smoothie. Now, Smoothie is very, very simple, very straightforward. Usually the final Battle Rush boss is like the most difficult, but this time around, like, Galette is actually the most annoying one. This one's very easy. You just use Luffy Ace as the captain, and they deal with everything, because there is 3 turns of special reverse, they deal with that as a captain. There's 8 turns of bind to the crewmates, they deal with that with their special. Full board of block slots, Luffy Ace deal with that. 9 turns of despair to both captains, their switch effect deals with that, and there's also slot bind to the captains with their switch effect they also deal with. And there also is an interrupt if you activate a chain lock or a chain boundary, which, once again, Luffy and Ace with their switch effect allows you to get a chain boundary. So it's uninterruptible from the enemy. So you would ideally start off as the strength Ace, super swap into quick Luffy, and you're good to go. Activate both specials, get a massive attack and all boost. You can actually get the conditional boost from their specials as well. Enormous damage you can get, and very simple, just by using both Luffy Aces as the captains, deals with everything. Alright, so now we're going to be looking at the final boss against Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin. Now there's a lot to take into consideration here, first of which, the friend captain for this team is obviously going to be Kara and Nami, the brand new treasure map legend on the Sugo Fest. And with this team composition, we do need these key supports. Now, on Robin, we have Karasu, but to be honest, you could replace it with any of Robin's supports that remove paralysis. It's just, there's a lot of them. You could use Mr. One, you could use Bato, you could use Karasu. Like, there's lots of different options there, which is good. So on stage 2, there's going to be 1 turn of paralysis, which is why that support that I mentioned was very important. And then there's going to be 6 turns of burn. Now, unfortunately, with this team, there isn't a really good way to remove that burn. You could take out Toadskii for another burn remover, and it's just going to be really annoying to deal with all of that, because, you know, you probably do want to have a way to get rid of burn realistically. There is a barrier on the enemy side of the field where you have to hit 4 perfects, and because of the burn, it's going to be 40,000 damage to the crew. And the thing is on stage 3, there is a revive, and the revive does do death damage. I think it's like 80,000 damage. So, you know, maintaining your HP is actually kind of important in this fight. So, yeah, removing that burn realistically might be something we have to look at. We do have Kara and Wanda, which do have barrier penetration, so you might not actually have to hit as many perfects as you think, due to them just being able to pierce the barrier and hit really hard against Linlin. So that is an idea, just something to think about. So there's also 3 turns of Rainbow Shield and Threshold on stage 2, which is why we have the Robin. Robin's special basically deals with that by herself. She deals with the paralysis and also the Threshold and the Rainbow Shield, which is great. And then when you reach the last stage, there is a full board of block slots, which with Crocodile, he just deals with that, which is great. There's going to be 7 turns of bind on your rows 2 and 3. So you need one of your captains to remove bind, which is why you would have Nami Carrot as your friend captain, because Nami Carrot with their special enable you to remove all of that bind, which is great. And then there's 7 turns of defense up, which is why I have Sanji on this team. Not the best option, to be honest, but Sanji does remove it, as well as give you more matching slots, which is actually really cool, and gives you chain boundary, chain boost as well with his super type. You can use his super type to switch him back down as the crewmate. It just depends on what you want to do. And of course there is a recovery barrier, a recovery slot barrier, so you have to tap recovery slots in order to break that character's barrier. so that's going to be very important. And then there is going to be an interrupt if you activate a damage reduction special, which is why I have the Brook support on Sanji, which provides 60% damage reduction against the enemy, so we mitigate quite a lot of the death damage that will occur from Big Mom. Also, having damage for multiple different turns is going to be ideal, so realistically you could use a Carrot Wanda special earlier, and then on the revive use another Carrot Wanda special. So you could potentially put something like a Perospero support on one of your Cerebral units just to guarantee the matching slots for one of the turns. That's probably going to be a really good idea, just to ensure that you have matching slots for a couple turns and stuff like that. So either way, just key things once again is the support, and then that Robin is really good here, making sure to maintain as much HP as possible so that the death damage on stage 3 doesn't kill you. And then Nami Carrot as the friend captain deals with a fair few gimmicks, of course. So those are the key takeaways from this team. Alright, so now we are at the Intrusion boss team, and luckily we can actually test out this team against the content that is on Extra Island. So I'll leave you guys with that clip as well, as we can just go through it and show you guys exactly how this team is supposed to work. So the thing here is we do get a full board of recovery slots at the start of the quest, which is fantastic, as Nami Carrot as a captain are enabling us to overheal, and that's very important because we don't have a very solidified way to remove recovery bind on this team, and we need to make sure that when we reach the final stage we have over 100% HP, either at full HP or above it, because if we don't have that, the enemy is going to inflict super block slots to the entire team and 1 turn of damage immunity. So if you don't have really high HP in that final stage, you're gonna be in trouble. So maintaining high HP is very important, and you need a hunger removal, but the friend captain deals with that if you don't have your own hunger removal. Now the supports of Mr. 1 and Bato deal with all of the paralysis on stage 2, which is absolutely fantastic, of course, and then the special reverse resistance from Luffy Ace deals with that on stage 2 as well. And then when we reach the final stage, Nami removing special bind, Luffy and Ace dealing with the bind. We have the threshold removal from Bonnie, rainbow shield removal from the Robin sub, of course, and then we can just do as much damage as we possibly can. So thank you very much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.